also very keenly aware of the interest of small businesses. For 12 years, I sold real estate in San Antonio, Bexar County, and surrounding areas. And I started out as a salesman. I became a real estate broker. I became an office manager. So I would recruit and train and motivate people to sell homes. I had to manage an office. I understood some of the problems that small businesses have. But even beyond that, a lot of my family members are small business people. I've got a daughter who's a partner in a CPA firm here in San Antonio. I've got another daughter who's a lawyer, and so she's a sole practitioner. She lives in Austin. And I've got another son who owns his own business in Austin. He's in partnership with somebody else. And what they do is they import motor scooters and they sell them in Austin, and then they service them. And so, you know, we've talked about the needs of small business and the concerns they have. For example, a lot of small businesses don't like the franchise tax, or what's called the margins tax, that they pay in order to go ahead and support the role of government. Remember, it was rewritten about 6 years ago in 2006, and the idea when they rewrote that bill was that they were going to alleviate property taxes. Everybody's property taxes went down, and this new set of taxes for businesses called the margin tax was supposed to take the place of that. Well, the tax, from all I've talked to in small businesses, is very complicated, and it's not very fair, and there's a lot of types of businesses that aren't paying into it because they were left out. They weren't, the bill was written excluding them. And so what I've heard from a lot of people is we need to reform it. It needs to be fair. It needs to be not so complex. There are some people I've talked to who said they know businesses just like theirs that do the same thing, that lost money and had to pay a franchise tax or margin tax, while they know companies that made money in the same business that didn't pay any franchise tax. And a lot of it's because of how you list a lot of your services that you spend your money on. And there's a lot of flexibility, and there's a lot of ways businesses interpret their growth and what they do in their business. And the comptroller simply doesn't have a mechanism for evening that, leveling up that playing field. So, you know, I think we need to revisit that. Certainly we know it hasn't generated the kind of money for public education that it was supposed to. It's been $10 billion in the hole over the last 6 years, which is part of the reason why we had to cut education, or why they chose to cut education in this last legislative session.